Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. As far as reggae music is concerned, the Marley clan is reggae royalty and sits at the pinnacle of the genre and is today a mighty musical empire founded by its legendary progenitor in the great Bob Marley. Since his tragic passing in 1981, the next generation, led by the Crown Prince YG Marley and his siblings, rose up to fill the void. This second generation, backed by the family's powerful music machine, would go on to very successful careers in their own individual rights. The third generation of the Marley dynasty have also been doing their thing musically and pretty well too. From Bob's eldest grandchild, Bambata Marley, the son of Ziggy, to the late Joe Mercer Marley, son of Stephen, and the fabulous Skip Marley, son of Stella Marley, among others. All incredible artists who I believe would be successful even if their last names were different. But none of them have excited my musical funny bone like the subject of today's video in the phenomenal Joshua Omaru Marley, aka YG Marley. Early last year, I began to catch wind of plenty of buzz around him, even though I'd never heard his music, and honestly, I wasn't interested. Not because I didn't think he'd be solid, but I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary. But boy was I in for a surprise. A few months later, I caught a rerun of the BET Awards and would watch the last 30 minutes of the show. The last performance of the evening was legendary US rapper and singer Lauryn Hill, and a few minutes into her awesome act, she would invite her son YG Marley to come on stage and do his own thing. That was the first time I would see him, and after a few seconds, I was riveted to my seat, with goosebumps running over me from head to toe. And it wasn't the large glass of bourbon I had been attending to. And from that day, I would dive headfirst into the rabbit hole of this latest Marley product. And I was stunned at his quality, his inspiration, of course pedigree, and his awesome levels of originality. That was the last thing that I expected. And what I uncovered convinced me beyond every doubt that this kid is going to be the biggest torchbearer of his granddad's legacy that we've seen in a while and will be for the foreseeable future. YG Marley was born in December 2001 in Beverly Hills, California, to Rohan Marley, professional football player and businessman, and Lauryn Hill, formerly of the Fugees, one of the greatest rappers and singers of her generation, and I dare say of all time. Even if the boy had no plans to become an artist, once you are the grandson of Bob Marley and Lauryn Hill's kid, you just know that the pull is going to be almost irresistible. Lauryn is a hands-on mom, and when he was very young, he would join her on stage during her concerts, and from the age of 12, he started making appearances in between her sets, performing his own original material. His first recording session was with his elder sister, Selah Marley, on a track in 2021 that was called Slick, off her EP, Star Power. Not much was heard about YG until 2023, when he began to frequently follow his mom on tours and would come on stage to perform his own song called Praise Jah in the moonlight.
These roads of flames are catching on fire.
An extremely infectious roots reggae track powered by instrumentals in the mold of Bob Marley and the Wailers. And recordings of those performances quickly gained traction on TikTok, and it got so popular that in December of that year, it got the all clear to release it on streaming platforms. This song, which begins with a sample of his granddad's song Crisis off the album Kaya from 1978, was written by YG and his mom, and is in my opinion one of the best reggae songs released since the dawn of the new millennium. For a start, the lyrics are sublime, intricate, and pure genius. And the audio and official videos on YouTube alone had gathered a staggering 131 million views, and the song had the honor of bringing a reggae track back into the Billboard 100 charts for the first time in 7 years, since Jay-Z and Damian Marley reached number 47 with the song Bam. It charted in 24 countries, reaching number 1 in the Netherlands and New Zealand, and top 10 in 8 others, plus top 20 on the Billboard Global 200 charts. A superb debut record that I can bet his granddad would have been smiling down on from Zion big time. I can't say for a fact how much Lauryn Hill wrote herself, but if YG wrote just half of this marvelous song, then he's truly one heck of a songwriter. The song brilliantly weaves spiritually conscious messaging, some serious words of inspiration for those downcast, and a sprinkle of a good old-fashioned heart-to-heart from a guy to his love interest. This song is like a perfect blend of coming in from the cold, natural mystic and waiting in vain. The most powerful thing about YG for me is his voice. All the Marleys sound just like Bob, and that in itself isn't a bad thing, as it shows how powerful his musical genes are. But YG, in my opinion, sounds the least like his famous granddad. You can still feel the Tough Gong's urgency and inflection in his tone, but this youngster's voice is a notch or two lower, but just as powerful and piercing in communicating his core message against the world systems of oppression, which are even more obvious today than they were when Bob wrote his timeless anthems. Another fascinating thing about his music so far is how it resonates universally and is able to capture the hearts of both old and new fans. While younger audiences can easily gravitate to say a Coffee or Mortimer, old reggae heads may acknowledge how good they are but not really get into it. But I've seen people in their 60s nod their heads with purpose when Praise Jah in the Moonlight comes on. He first blew up on TikTok, but his audience has since quickly spread beyond that demographic. And did I forget to mention how he channeled Neville Garrick's design for the Exodus album into the single's own cover art. But while many of us are gushing over his great start, there are plenty of naysayers and critics who are quick to dismiss YG as just another Marley baby, a privileged rich kid and latest product on the Marley assembly line that they feel has pulled the strings and controlled the reggae scene for far too long. The truth is that YG is a rich kid with a platform and musical pedigree that most people can only dream of. But does he have talent? I'd shout a big yes. And more importantly, he's got something to prove. The truth is, he's only done a few songs like Praise Jah in the Moonlight, Survival, Blessings and Freedom, plus being featured on tracks by the likes of Busta Rhymes, Coco Jones and Davido. He's definitely aware of all the criticisms, and like his uncles Ziggy and in particular Damian Marley, who he reminds me the most of when they were his age, he never fails to let everyone know that he has a chip on his shoulder about being called a Nepo baby and tells critics to watch out for what's to come. Personally, I believe him 100% because whenever I watch his performances, like the one at the BET Awards or Coachella in 2024, he always mashes up the crowd with his incredible voice that gets under your skin, plus his cool but riveting stage presence. YG Marley is undeniably living proof that Bob Marley never died, but just multiplied. He's currently in the studio working on the songs that will make up his debut album, which I can bet is going to be fire. There's very little info about the release date, but three little birds keep telling me that the compilation will be out before the end of this year. I can't wait to hear what YG is cooking, and I'm really curious, but I'm certain it will establish him as the new torchbearer of the mighty Marley legacy. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.